So it started off with this nice little charity find, a nice little aquarium that cost me £2 or £3, I think it was, for a little charitable donation, but I wanted it rimless. So as you can see here, I took the plastic surrounds off and made it a rimless tank. I put sponge filters at the bottom, the small ones that I bought from Temu that weren't big enough for what I wanted, just as a base so that I didn't have to use as much substrate. So you see the spider wood that I've put in there that I think looks like a nice little tree rooting system. And the dragon stone, and as you can see, I was messing around with it, trying to get the perfect sort of shape and how I wanted it. And now it was time to foam it in. This little project has taught me a bit more about patience, because obviously this had to sit overnight. After a quick spray down with the water bottle, because apparently it helps the foam cure a lot quicker, I left it overnight after I had put the last smaller pieces of dragonstone into the foam. Fast forward to the next day, it was time to start peeling off the foam, which the top part just got cut off, and then the rest of it I peeled off by hand because it helps keep a little bit more texture to it and it makes it look a little bit more natural shape-wise when you start putting on whatever you choose as the background. For this one, you'll see shortly, I ended up using the Habitat coir block with some silicone, but obviously that is coming momentarily after I finish cutting and shaping the foam. All the while being spied on by the big boy himself, King Dagger. So yeah, as you can see, the Habitat coir block, just the small one, I didn't need the big one. And then, ta-da, there we go. Anyway, that was fun. Yeah, so the silicone sealant I'm using is the usual, the HA6 Aquarium Silicone, which is 100% silicone, no added extras, and it's perfect for anything that you're keeping animals in. Just obviously make sure it cures. Once I'd got it into all the nooks and crannies, I just went over it with my hands just to make sure that it was nicely covering the foam and that there were going to be no blank spots afterwards. The last thing you want is to put your substrate or your background on and there's big pieces of white foam hanging out the back. That will not do at all. So the coir brick straight on top of the wet silicone, a few layers just to make sure there's plenty on there, and then press it down into the silicone. Pressing it down is just going to make sure that it's getting in there properly into the nooks and crannies and just making sure it gets the job done properly. Time for the reveal. Once that was all dry and ready to go, Arcadia Earth Mix Supercharged, ready for the substrate layer. So as you can see, the sponge filter is coming in very handy because I don't have to use as much and I can actually use it to sort of level up towards the back. So it increases the sort of look of depth. So it was a nice smaller layer at the bottom, at the front, sorry, and then it worked its way deeper to the back, just giving it a bit more depth. So it's really good stuff as well, to be fair. I've not used it much, but I'm so far really enjoying it. And what better to complement it than the Habitat Sphagnum moss. This is moss that I use on pretty much every build at the moment, and I think it's just really good stuff. It helps hold the humidity, moisture, everything like that, and it just looks nice as well. I did also use a natural green moss, which you will see further down in the video. I also planted some lovely pink polka dot plants. I don't know how well they're going to hold up in here. There will be a light over it, but I've had them before and they didn't seem to do that well. So I'm curious to see how they get on in this, but they do end up complementing this enclosure really nicely with the colour. then added some of the twigs that I snapped off as almost more root-like accents. It didn't fit in there properly before I snapped them off, so I just put them in there just to add a little bit more excitement to the enclosure and just hopefully make it look that little bit busier and nicer. As you can see here, adding the more natural looking green moss, again just for a little splash of different colour in here. Something else for the inhabitants to hide amongst, in my opinion, just makes the enclosure look that much better. Now obviously, what is any enclosure without leaf litter? I crumpled some up because I didn't want giant leaves in there to almost make it look like a miniature enclosure. I wanted it to be a mini ecosystem that looked like a proper slice of nature. So crumbled them up to make the leaf litter look smaller, almost so that when it's close up it looks more lifelike. So plenty of leaf litter. You know how much I love my leaf litter, and again it just sets it off, and it will be very, very good for the inhabitants. Couple more bits of decoration, some little pods for, well, the pods, just to sprinkle in there for a little bit of extra excitement. And as you can see, ladies and gents, this is the outcome. So let's talk inhabitants. Dubia Paul, I won these in a little raffle. P. spatulatus white. And goodness me, do they live up to their name. They are stunning. Are we ready for another little magic trick? Before and after lighting. Once again, just sets this enclosure off. Dagger nearly fell off of his log. Anyway, what do you think? You like it? Have I done well? Is it awful? Is it standard? Is there anything I could have done to improve? Let me know. I'm a big fan of it. I think it's very nice. I still need to sort out a proper lid for it, to be honest with you. There is a lid on it, but I need to build one that looks nice. So I'm going to do that as well. Before I continue on with the thanks and the outro, I haven't plugged my own merch in a very, very long time. So if you're interested in some Riddle Reptiles merch, there's plenty of it, okay? Connected below, I believe, is my Spring store, so you can go directly from here. If you want a t-shirt, a hoodie, a hat, some stickers, I think, whatever. Please feel free to check it out and support me by buying some merch. Massive shout out to my patrons. Love you, thank you, appreciate you. There's a couple of new ones since the last video, so thank you. I appreciate you all for signing up, but obviously the OGs that have been with me since day, I love you as well. Don't think you've been forgotten about. If you want to sign up, if you want to help me that little bit more, because all of the money goes back into the reptiles and inverts, I guess. 100% of it goes back into them. So if you want to help me out that little bit more, link will be in the description. For everyone else, love you, appreciate you. Hope you've enjoyed. Other than that, please like, comment, share, subscribe, all of the good stuff, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.